Turn your mind on and your TV off. It's time to hear the real truth behind what's really going on. Join Tia Severino, an advocate for truth, freedom, and spiritual growth, as she explores the real story behind what we are made to believe on her show, The People's Truth. In the next hour, you'll be exposed to shocking revelations, to lies you have believed in all your life. Together with her guests, she will unravel the facts behind the current events, health, wellness, faith, justice, and more. As Orwell said, in a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. Join the conversation, leave a comment, or call in live 678-495-4345. Don't forget to like, share, and help spread the great message out. And now, here's Tia Severino.
Hello, and welcome to The People's Truth, where we dig deep into the issues that are really affecting our world. I'm your host, Tia Severino, and in this episode, I'll be joined by the doctors Teri and Stu Warner. I'm actually really excited about this episode because if you've been watching me for any time now, you know that my passion, my focus, my vision is building the parallel society. We really must now come together and start to create the structures and institutions that we will need to survive and thrive in the times that are coming our way. I don't know about you, but I personally cannot live in the world that the elites, the powers that be, the global cabal, if you will, have planned for us and have been planning for us. I simply won't comply with their mandates, their dictates, their ideas for how society can be bettered. And so I'm really excited about the opportunity for scientists, doctors, activists, journalists, moms, people from all walks of life coming together, building a tribe, building a network and a community so that we can get through the coming time. So with that, Doctors Stu and Teri Warner are embarked on a very similar mission, passions path. And so I'll bring them on here. I want to read to you a little bit about their background. Doctors Theresa and Stuart Warner are founders of the Wellness Parenting Revolution. They have been called America's most trusted source for raising healthy kids. They have been in private pediatric, chiropractic, and prenatal practice in Point Pleasure, New Jersey for 30 years, where they've helped thousands of children and pregnant women overcome illness and optimize their health. Doctors Warner are internationally sought after keynote speakers and postgraduate educators. They are featured at doctor conferences and parenting health expos around the world. They are warriors to affect change to help turn the sickest generation of kids in history into the healthiest. Through their signature strategies to boost immune and brain function in kids, they are working to reverse the alarming rise of childhood illness. Doctors Teri and Stu Warner are media spokespersons who regularly appear in the national media on TV as a kids' health expert, talking about the benefits of chiropractic care for kids and natural approaches to health and wellness. Their groundbreaking segment on the Doctor's TV show on chiropractic care for newborns was highly acclaimed for raising awareness of this important topic. Despite their many accolades, their greatest achievement by far are their three beautiful children, Sydney, Skylar, and Alexis. They are hosting the Health and Freedom Summit and Expo in Orlando, October 6th through the 9th, and information and tickets are available at wellnessparenting.info. Wow, I feel so honored to welcome Dr. Stu and Teri to the show. Welcome to the show. What an amazing background. And I just want to say for the chiropractors out there, we really love you. I just had a chiropractic adjustment this morning, so I know my head's on right and ready for this important show. For those who don't know who you are and are just meeting you for the first time today, would you tell our audience a little bit about your background and what got you interested in pursuing the mission, the vision that you're pursuing now?
Of course, absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. We just love what you're doing and getting this important message out to everyone.
Yes, we both came into the chiropractic world and healing two different ways. I started out graduating high school as an athlete, getting ready to go embark on college as a business major. And when I was 18, I received my first chiropractic adjustment. And before I knew it, one thing led to the next, and I was off to chiropractic college. And, my wife had a different experience on her path.
Yeah, I actually was one of those chiropractic miracle testimonials that everyone hears about. And as a young child, I was right from the get-go kind of not the healthiest kid, and had eczema and allergies and developed asthma, and it got really bad, had been hospitalized, and our path ended up, my dad had gotten a transfer. We moved in next door to chiropractors, a husband and wife like ourselves, who had two great kids my age, and welcomed us into their office. And that transformed my health and our life and my path. And so my sister became a chiropractor, I became a chiropractor, my husband, his brother, and now we have a big family of it. And so, for us, it started right with our own testimonials, and then in school having pediatric patients, and really that understanding that in order to change the next generation, we need to help to boost their immune system and their growth and their potential right from the start. So I like to say, from womb to tomb, having a healthy nervous system and a good chiropractor will set you on that right path.
Awesome. Well, every chiropractor that I know has just an incredible energy about, and I know that's because their pathways are clear. Talk a little bit about the importance of keeping your spine aligned and avoiding subluxation, which is what causes those little pinched nerves that cause all kinds of cascades of problems throughout the body with our muscles and our organs. Talk a little bit about that so that people who may not know about chiropractic can get a little bit of insight from you. Like,
sure,
if you were explaining chiropractic to somebody who never had an adjustment.
That's a great question, T, and we get that a lot. And, many people out there in the public that don't have experience with chiropractic might think it's for back pain or car accidents and so forth. But actually, it's really about the nervous system, because we recognize the brain and nervous system control every cell, tissue, and organ of your body and your kid's body. And not only that, your nervous system controls your entire immune system. That's kind of important to determine if you're going to get sick or not. Mm-hmm. Your brain and nervous system controls your hormones, your biochemistry, and how your body heals and how it responds to the environment. So it's critical that your nervous system is working properly, that you get proper nerve flow and proper nerve impulses from the brain down the spinal cord, out the nervous system to every organ, tissue, and part of your body, so you can function at 100%. And through various stresses and traumas, physical stress and mental and chemical stresses, these bones in the neck could become misaligned or locked up and interfere with that proper nerve system function and cause vulnerability and weaknesses in that person or in that baby that makes them more susceptible to all types of illnesses and lowered potential in life. So the chiropractor's role is to examine the spine for the purpose of removing any interference from the nervous system, which we call subluxation. And once we correct that, then the body has an amazing capability to heal itself and be well. And no matter what you do in life, your body's going to work better with the nervous system free of interference than with all the stress and interference in it.
Yeah, and I just add in that, Stu mentioned about physical and chemical and different types of traumas. But the one, that we need to key in on right now with kids is that emotional effect as well, because kids have been under so much stress, and adults as well. All of us through these past 2.5 years now of, everything that's taken place and going on, having that added stress on top of everything else, it just is enough to to tip past the point that many people can emotionally handle, and their nervous system can handle stresses the right way. And, as Stu said, that makes us more vulnerable to illness and everything that goes along with that. So right now, more than ever, we need to keep our immune systems working right, our mental attitude and our mindset right, and do everything that we can. And that's what we'll, talk about, lots of ways that we can maximize our potential for ourselves and our families now more than ever before.
Well, while you were talking, I was just thinking of the mental picture of a house, right? You have the house and the bones are good. Maybe the foundation is shifting a little bit. And because the foundation's shifting a little bit, the wiring in the walls is getting crimped and it's not working quite as well. So every now and then you turn on a light and it kind of flickers, or, sometimes you got a little like a black spot in the house where things aren't working right. The wiring, like that outlets, just you plug in, there's nothing there. Something's going on, and is that not very a good analogy for the body, because the bones are like the walls, or the structure of our body is the bones, and if they shift a little bit and it pinches those nerves that are like our wiring, right? The wiring to our body, then it can interfere with the signals that are going on. So it's almost like you're getting in there and fixing the wiring and fixing the foundation when you're making the adjustments. And all I know is that sometimes I'll get an adjustment and I'll feel like tingling in my scalp. And it's like, oh, you just got a reconnection there. Somebody flipped the breaker down in the basement, and now the wiring is working again. Electricity is flowing the way that it needs to. So we look at little kids and we think, oh, they're perfect. They're so resilient. They bounce back from everything. Why would they need chiropractic care? That's for people that are old like me, whose big bodies are beat up and maybe need a little help. But my daughter experienced trauma during birth, and actually now you can see that trauma in her spine and her neck. So maybe talk a little bit about, you said from the womb to the tomb. So as soon as a baby comes out of the birth canal, and even if they've been a C-section baby and they've been taken out that way, talk about the benefits of a newborn receiving chiropractic care.
That's a brilliant metaphor you gave with the house, because, if your wires in your communication and the source is off, the lights might not work, or the refrigerator might not work. And that is a great point to show the difference between the allopathic or medical approach or the chiropractic approach.
Right.
And the wellness approach, because the medical approach is to deal with the symptom or the effects. So they might keep changing the light bulb instead of going to the power source. And
you need a new refrigerator.
Right. So the chiropractor recognizes the nervous system controls the function. So we want to make sure that that's working properly. And it's more important actually for babies, newborns, and children to get checked than it is for adults, because they're growing and developing and have different windows of genetic expression that are unfolding. And we want to make sure the nervous system is working right while they're going through those different opportunities of growth and development. And we know the old adage, as the trunk of the tree grows, so grows the tree. So when babies are born and children are growing up, we don't want to wait for symptoms, because the symptoms are the last sign that something may be wrong if you have symptoms at all. So it's important to assess the spine and nervous system, even if there aren't any symptoms, because you might have a situation where you're functioning at 75% or 80% of your potential, but there's no symptoms. So the chiropractor wants to make sure that your whole body is working at 100%. So you're optimizing all of your abilities.
Fantastic. Well, we've got to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the importance of getting the health care in place for your children. And I'm talking about real health care, not the sick care that they're trying to sell you, on the other side of the break.
My phone rings, and it's Dr. William Thompson.
You and I don't know each other very well. You have a son with autism, and I have great shame now.
There's a whistleblower from the CDC who's going to come out and say that the CDC had committed fraud on the MMR study and that they knew that vaccines were actually causing autism.
My oldest son, Ian, was walking and running. After the vaccine, he was no longer able to do that.
So I called the clinic and I said, I think my child's had adverse reaction to those shots.
And then came the head bang, the constant banging against anything that he could find.
Right now, I'm sitting in a very pretty position in terms of providing you a lot of information.
The first thing that Thompson did was to plot a graph. Now, if there's no link between early MMR and autism, those two lines should track together. Now, they do track together until they get to 15 months. Then they separate, and they continue to separate thereafter. And they sliced and diced the data in an effort to get rid of that effect.
The relative risk of receiving an autism diagnosis was astronomical.
Wow. The CDC had known all along there was this MMR autism risk.
In CDC's judgment, the best public policy is to continue vaccination unchanged.
You who run our health agencies in this country, you have an obligation to make sure that these studies are complete, thorough, so that we have all the facts.
Oh my God, I cannot believe we did what we did, but we did.
Omission of crucial data, destruction of documents, misleading the Congress, grievous harm to innocent children.
Everything I've been telling my patients for the last 10 years has been based on a lie and a cover-up.
Parents should be able to count on federal agencies to tell them the truth.
In 1978, the prevalence of autism was about 1 in 15,000 children.
If we assume that things are going to continue as they have, we can predict that by 2032, 80% of the boys born will end up on the autism spectrum. Half the children, 80% of the boys.
It's a vast number of children who are being diagnosed with autism every day.
This is going to be a complete catastrophe if we just let it happen.
Welcome back to The People's Truth with Tia Severino. My guests today are Dr. Stu and Teri Warner. And I don't know, I just kind of want to say this again. I've said it before, but parents out there, did you know you can fire your pediatrician? You absolutely can. And if you do, if you fire your pediatrician and you take your children out of the state-sponsored indoctrination camps, their plan to put a needle in the arm of every single child multiple times a year from the time they're born all the way through college and set them up for a lifetime of interventions that are completely unnecessary, it will fail because they have built this house of cards upon the model of your friendly family pediatrician making sure your child is up to date and the schools refusing to let you know about your religious exemptions and even your medical exemptions. If you get your kids out of the state-sponsored indoctrination camps and you fire your pediatrician, you can hire a wonderful chiropractor like the Doctors Warner, and they will, I guarantee you, deliver your child much better health than you ever would get from one of these guys over here. So with that set up, let's talk, Doctors Stu and Teri, about the importance of taking control of your child's health. It's up to you. It's not up to your doctor. You hire the doctor. They don't hire you. You hire the doctor. You can fire the doctor. What do you think about what I've just said?
I think it's very, very provocative, and that every parent should be thinking about these questions that you're posing, because it comes down to fundamentally, are we raising our kids in a healthcare system or a sick care system? And so are we reacting to everything that's wrong, or are we trying to build health in them from the very beginning? And so what we want to do is maximize their potential and do things that are constantly building better and better levels of health and wellness, creativity, and maximizing what they can do, as opposed to looking at everything as an illness and a symptom that needs to be treated. And so we have two completely different systems of well care and sick care that we're dealing with. As chiropractors, we want to lead parents down the path and children down that path of actual health care. Just because they call it health insurance doesn't mean that what it pays for is building health. Right. Many times that's occupying the sick care system. And so, pediatricians in and of themselves, we have many that are friends. We've met so many. It's not as though any doctor, we love everyone. It's not as though you seek out and you go down this road to be delivering that kind of care. But Big Pharma has hijacked the medical schools. They've hijacked the hospitals. They've taken over. Docs are limited to 6-minute visits or less, right, per patient. They're in and out of rooms like a flash, and they're taught from the beginning, just hit the symptom, treat it, give them something, and get on to the next patient. Yep. As opposed to, how are we going to look at the root cause? How are we going to analyze this child and put them in a path of wellness? Right. So instead of being reactive, being proactive.
Yeah. You said something very important about taking control of your family's health, because, the government does not own our kids. They don't determine what we do with our kids. We need to. But unfortunately, more parents spend more time researching what type of flat screen TV they want to get, or what color they want to put on their fingernails, rather than what they're injecting into their children. So parents need to do the research. They need to find like-minded individuals that already have healthy kids, and develop that support system, because the normal state of our children should be health. God made our children to be healthy, yet today, over 54% of the kids in our country have a chronic illness, meaning they're going to be sick for the rest of their lives. So if you follow your pediatrician's recommendations and do what everyone else does, most likely you're going to have a chronically ill kid. So it's important for you to take control of your family's health and be able to provide them, proper nutrition and exercise and love and a healthy nervous system, and all the things that produce health and wellness.
Well, you mentioned that number, 54% of our kids have a chronic illness, and those are pretty old numbers, because I've been hearing them for several years, and so they are pre-pandemic numbers, and I would garner a guess that that number has not improved, although I do understand that the number of kids dying from SIDS had gone down due to parents not taking their kids in for the wellness baby checks, which we know are not about wellness. But I can't imagine that what the last 2.5 years have done to psychologically to children, especially the ones that have been forced to mask in school. I mean, just the psychological damage that this whole event is going to have on all age groups, but especially the children who don't have the memory of what it was like before. So, what do we do as parents? We're over here trying to figure out how to navigate this rapidly changing world that looks to be, in a lot of ways, going down a direction we don't want to go in. So here we are trying to figure out what to do, and we don't even know really what's ahead of us. So that's why I'm so excited about some of the things that you're doing, which are very similar in alignment with what I've been doing, and with the Next Steps conference that we just had, where we're trying to equip people with tools and inspiration and motivation, and give them the ability to go out and affect change themselves. So what do you see? Because you're out there, you're doing these events. Are you seeing more people waking up now? I mean, people that maybe didn't take all this stuff so seriously a few years ago. Are you seeing this rapid awakening happening too?
Absolutely. If there's a silver lining to any of this, it's that people are waking up. It's been thrown in their face so much that they almost have no choice. Either they're completely blinded by it and still masking up, or they've woken up to the fact that, I really need to start taking control of what's going on in my life and getting the right information and not just, blindly following what I'm told. And so more and more people are doing that. And, I love what you were talking about in the beginning, and it's something that we really stress to people and try to help them do is find their tribe. And there is this huge tribe of moms and dads and people out there. I say to parents and moms especially so often, you are not alone. Don't feel alone in this. This is not only your fight, this is ours. You are a part, and not of hundreds or thousands, but millions strong, not only in the US, but globally, that you are a part of a big tribe. They make us think we're not, the mass media, right? They want us to feel alienated. They want us to follow a certain path. They want you to be a robot and just go along. But once you're brave enough to step out and say, I've had enough. I'm taking back control for myself and for my family, for my children, for the lives of them and my grandchildren. Because if we don't, we won't have to worry about that because all will be lost. So people are waking up and saying, I hadn't considered this before, but I think I might want to pull my kids out of public school. Let me find out about homeschool. I had blindly been following what my pediatrician was doing, but now I'm looking at the stats, and now I decided, how do I get in touch with a great family and pediatric chiropractor to help, to navigate our healthcare? How do we look in different directions? I had been told to bottle feed, but now I want to breastfeed. I had been told to go to the hospital, but now I want to look into natural treatments for things. Whatever, there are so many different topics, and certainly food and nutrition, exercise, all the things that, ironically, we were told not to do during the pandemic. Stay at home, don't get vitamin C, don't go to the gym, don't get sunshine, don't work out, don't do any of these things, are all the things that actually build health. And so, finding those like-minded parents, listening to your show, your experts, being a part of something bigger than yourself, because you are. And just by watching today, that you're part of this tribe, and there are so many out there that you can become linked to, and that have woken up along this path.
Absolutely, Dr. Stu.
Yes, I mean, your viewers are educated. They probably already know this, but, everything they've told us in the last 2.5 years from the health officials and the government and me has been a lie about the pandemic. Our healthy kids are at zero risk for any complications from COVID. They could have gone back to school from the very beginning without any masking, without any distancing, without any shielding, without any shots, and they can still do that today. Kids, have a healthy immune system, and they can adapt to, the environment properly. So, parents have to realize, well, maybe what they're going to tell me next may not be true. And just today in New York, the governor declared another health emergency for polio, and to make vaccines more accessible for everyone. So there's no end in sight to the freedoms they want to take away and the pharmaceutical products they want to force on their kids. So, my wife and I spoke a few years ago at the Great Harlem vaccine debate in New York. And, they were saying on the other side, well, once you take away all of our vaccines, what do we do? What are we supposed to do? And we had to talk about, well, there's lots of things you can do. In fact, in October 6th to the 9th, I'm at our Health and Freedom Summit in Orlando. One of our signature talks is super immunity for kids. And, we can go through dozens of protocols and strategies of how you can implement things for your children so that they're healthy and vibrant. And it gives you peace of mind that you don't have to worry about the fear and about all the issues going on out there because your body's functioning at 100%.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take another break. And I want to stop and mention that right now you can watch all of the Next Steps conference videos on the digital replay as a free viewing with your UI Media Network membership. $2.99 a month, and you can access all the exclusive content on UI Media Network. I hope that you go over there and check out the Next Steps conference videos. We'll be talking more about the Wellness Parenting Revolution event in Orlando when we come back on the other side of this break.
Big medicine came in the 1980s and big dollars. But did you know that it used to be illegal in the United States to run a for-profit medical center? In 1983, they passed a law and they said, no, you know what, we're going to go for-profit. Right there, your health became a commodity. Your wellness became a commodity. Your death became a commodity.
My friends, just because they're not locking you down right now, we are under attack. The inflation is by design. The higher food prices, the food shortages, this is the attack.
I have way more faith in God's created natural immunity inside of you that is self-governing than anything anybody sells you in a lab.
People say this to me, but he's so bright. Not in that way. He's not seeing with the heart. This is the heart intelligence. So I want you to see your life with the eyes of your heart.
This is our time. I'm tasked with telling you what we need to do. Keep doing what you're doing. Faster, harder, more. Let everyone know. We are the children of God. We are created in the image and likeness of God. We have the power in our hands. We are the warriors of light. Tell everyone you know. Save everyone you can. And I'll see you at the finish line.
Welcome back to The People's Truth. My guests today, Dr. Stu and Teri Warner, very much like myself, have been on a path, on a track to trying to build this parallel society, which is what I've been saying we've got to do. We need to have our own doctors. We need our own hospitals. We need our own scientists, our own publications, our own journals. We need our own schools. We need our own institutions of higher learning. We have to take back our sovereignty because right now, the system, they're already saying they want to collapse the system. They want to tear down their own system so they can do this great reset, rebuild this new. Okay, great. Let them do their reset over here. Let's us do our reset over there. Doesn't have to be the same great reset. Like, I'm for the Great Awakening. They can have the Great Reset. We'll be over here building our communities where we are learning again how to get back to nature, homesteading, homeschooling, home defense, community building, all of these things. You guys are doing the same thing that I'm doing. And so we need to all sort of kind of come together. There's a lot of people are trying to do this, and there's no need for us each to try to reinvent the wheel. We need to pull the people together who've already got these great ideas worked out, and let's build the structure for the new parallel society. Let's talk a little bit about what your vision for the Wellness Parenting Revolution. I know that you started in December of last year. You held an event in Tennessee, and then again in, I think February, you did another event, and now this will be the third of the Wellness Parenting Expos. Am I correct? Am I making the right statement here? Awesome.
Those are our last ones, but we've been putting on conferences all over the world like this for 25 years. And,
sure.
you know, even more important now with what's going on, that we bring together the world's best, most accomplished, research published experts and doctors and activists to be able to share the best science and protocols and inspiration so people can be empowered with information to make better decisions, to raise healthy, free families, and to live the life that they want to live. So, we're just very blessed to have brought together the best doctors and resources, such as, Dr. Peter McCullough, who's a board-certified cardiologist, internist, epidemiologist with a master's in public health. He was the editor of 2 medical journals, a president of a medical society. He's the most published doctor in the entire world on COVID treating protocols. And, he's going to provide that information for everyone so people can go down a better path. We have Dr. David Martin, who's brilliant, Dr. Judy Mikovits. We have Dr. Joe McCullough, who's been, pioneer since the 80s in bringing the best science with the world's largest health newsletter. And so, we created an environment where people can come and meet the, best, people that are on purpose and awake and be able to, be certain with the information so they make the better decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting that information to us, the newest science and protocols, and that's out there, and truth, right? Not what we're told, but what it actually is. But then also getting the heart, connecting with people alive, in person, up close, getting to hug and touch, feeling that energy in the room, and hearing from people also like who is on our program, Barbara Lowe Fisher, who, if you aren't familiar, people aren't familiar, you should be. She founded the National Vaccine Information Center and back 40 years ago, and she will be with us, and we will be honoring her for that. And you can hear from her. And when you talk about heart, no one shares better from the heart than Barbara. And it's just, such an amazing array of not only all these experts, whether they're doctors and scientists, religious leaders, healthcare advocates, all these different people, but it's getting together. I think that there's just such a difference when we are able to be back in person. And if you haven't been to an event that's live like this in the past, get yourself there. There's nothing better than connecting with like-minded individuals. And when we say find your tribe, that we are millions strong, that's because you're going to find people there that act like you, think like you, are doing like you, hear from experts who are giving you the information that you need to live your best life. And, we say if they knew what you knew, they would do what you do. And so when we look at people that are living that life now, we need to be able to learn, okay, whether you just started to dip your big toe in the water and say, you know what, this stuff isn't making sense to me. I need to look outside the box that I've been given. I want to find out more. Or whether you already jumped headfirst into the deep end and are living it now, you're going to get so much from so many people. And, I used to say, if you walk away from every conference we've spoken at and been to, well over 700, over 1,000 we've been to, I'm sure probably a lot more than that over the years. But if we got one thing, what's the one new thing I walked away with this weekend? But the truth is you walk away with hundreds, and it's transformational, not just from the book knowledge, but from those connections that you make and how you're able to elevate your health and your family's health emotionally, physically, spiritually to new heights that you may never have even known existed before. And hearing those testimonials is just so spectacular and dramatic. So we know that the best people are here. We want everyone. And also, there'll be 50 vendors there in the exhibit area. So you'll be able to come and see the best of the brightest in the health and wellness world of products and services that you can utilize to enhance your
your health. And, one of the great things too, because your audience is so educated, is, we may have family members or friends that don't support what we do. And maybe there's a little tug of war there. And it's hard for us sometimes to communicate with the people that we're closest to. So, I would recommend you just drag them, kidnap them, bring them to the Health and Freedom Summit, because when they hear the truth and the science from the most credentialized doctors and experts in the world, there's no way they're going to leave there without being in the same mindset as you. It'll be transformational. So, there's still tickets available. Everyone can go to www.wellnessparenting.info and find out all about it. There's programs there for the general public, for moms and dads, but also for functional medical doctors, chiropractors, nurses. There's going to be a autism neurodevelopmental awareness education day. So there's going to be something there for everybody.
It sounds amazing. It actually sounds a little overwhelming. I was looking at the program, and it looks like you have multiple tracks going on. So you have to kind of, if you go, you're going to have to figure out which track you want to be in and which speakers you want to go listen to their speeches. So let's talk a little bit about the different tracks that you have, because that might help people get a little bit more excited about it. Do you have like continuing education credits for some of that? So you have like a chiropractors, doctors track, and I noticed that Kimberly Overton is going to be doing something with the Nurse Freedom Network. So really exciting. So let's talk about those different tracks that you have.
The tracks are just the first 2 days on Thursday and Friday. There's 18 CE hours for the chiropractors. There's 20 CME hours for the medical doctors. There's hours for the nurses. But Saturday, Sunday, everybody's in one big room on the main stage. So everybody's together. The energy is electric.
Wow. So come early, especially if you're in the healthcare profession, so that you can get that continuing education and also be around these amazing peers who some of them are absolutely phenomenal, and you're going to get a lot of, I always say when we come together, we sort of do that osmosis thing. We're just exchanging ions, it's just being in the same room with the person. You pick up their energies. So there's going to be a lot of great networking going on and opportunities to be in the room with some amazing people, hear what they have to say, share what share what you are learning about. And then on the weekend, we're just going to have a great time. Sounds like this is going to be phenomenal. You've got like a VIP dinner. You got like a special like gala, like a party or something like that. Anything like that where I can get dressed up, because I don't get that many opportunities to dress up. So are we going to have some?
I can't believe that. There is so much going on. And we will be honoring some of our illustrious guests a Saturday evening after the program ends. And so we have that, and just some so well-deserving honorees that are, have been in the fight for a long time and have just cleared the pathway. And Friday night, we also have Mickey Willis coming, and we're going to be able to be showing Plandemic 3. And we're super excited to get everyone there for that. So that'll kick off finish up the Friday night program. So come in early if you're coming for the weekend. Make sure you're with us for that at 6 p.m. And if you're with us the rest of it, you're going to stay right through. So you're definitely right that there is so much to it, but one thing flows right into the next. And it's just going to be a beautiful experience for people that have children either on the spectrum, or whether you're a parent or a provider and you want information on that. That's our Friday program as well. So not only for the healthcare providers on Thursday, Friday, but for anyone with the autism neurodevelopmental education track, that's going to be all day Friday. So when you have a Dr. Neuenschwander and Dr. Mikovits and the different people that'll be sharing on that, you can get information, on the website at wellnessparenting.info. But finding that out and hearing in this, setting with these experts is just amazing.
Well, I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to take our final break. When we come back, I would love to just kind of pick your brains and, maybe get some of those little clues that you might give to, say, a patient, like a parent who's brought a child in. Some of those action items and things that people can take away and do themselves. After the break. Are we being manipulated? Is the media really telling us the truth? Can we trust the food we eat? What's actually in our medicines? Find all your answers with me, Tia Severino, on my show, The People's Truth. As an advocate for truth, health freedom, and spiritual growth, I will be digging deep into the heart of the matter, from personal freedoms, current events, and much more. My guests and I will get you thinking in ways you've never thought before through our insights and thought-provoking discussions. Tune in every other Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern on UI Media Network. Catch me live on uimedianetwork.org and on Facebook, YouTube, Spreaker, and almost all your favorite podcasting platforms. It's time to wake up. Find out what's really going on. The People's Truth, telling revolutionary truths in a time of universal deception. Thanks for sticking around to watch this episode of The People's Truth with Tia Severino. My guest today are Doctors Stu and Teri Warner, and they are two beautiful chiropractors in a big chiropractor family that are putting on amazing events, and we are looking forward to the October Wellness Parenting Expo in Orlando. So if I was in your office today and I was presenting you with my child who is, say, on the autism spectrum, maybe he's got some hyperactivity, some aggression behaviors, and we've been working with him on his gut, his diet for years and years and years, and I'm just wanting to improve his quality of life, what would you say to me as a parent? Oh,
in patients in the last nearly 30 years. And, so many of the parents bring their kids in as a last resort when it should really be the first approach to look at correcting the root causes rather than trying to treat and manage the symptoms. But one of the things I need to share with the parents to kind of shift their mindset a little bit is, we talk about how, your child's had these issues, month after month, and you keep going back to the pediatrician and they're saying, here, try this, and then they're going to be better. And, 3, 5, 7 years later, they're still not better. We have to, say to the parent, Mom, if the pediatrician had the answer for your child's health problem after the first month, after the 10th dose, after the second year, they would be better by now, wouldn't they? So, it makes sense to try a different approach. And, many of these kids on the spectrum or ADD, they have other practitioners that try to help them. And, once the parent begins care in our office and the protocols for a few weeks, invariably the other practitioners and therapists that they're seeing always say to the parent, what are you doing different? Because it seems like you have a whole new child. And that's because once you remove the interference and the stress from the nervous system, everything else starts to work better. It's like when the tide comes in, it raises the level of all of the boats.
Right.
So, that's the first thing to get them excited about, a new approach. But, so the brain and nervous system function is essential. And what you mentioned is very important as well, looking at healing the gut. And we got to clean up all the chemicals and the processed foods. It's so important to, eat organic, eat nutritious, healthy foods. But it's even more important to first get rid of the bad things you're putting in. So we got to get rid of the processed foods and the GMOs and all of the industrial nut seed oils and the sugar and all of that. You get rid of that. That's half the battle, and then we can reinforce the good side.
Yeah, there are so many layers to it. Obviously, as chiropractors, we look at the spine and nervous system first and make sure that that's balanced. But then the causes of that imbalance need to be addressed as well. And I think that's what you're getting at is saying, well, what contributes to that? So then we look and try to educate people and help on the lifestyle issues. And first starting with, that detailed history of what's been going on, what is the surrounding like, what's the household, what is the diet like, what's the exercise protocol, what sunshine do you get, where do you live, all the different things that will help to build that. And again, going back to, fundamentally, it's simple. You're either building health or you're not, it's going the other direction. And so as we look at some of the kids, we have to take it all the way back to educating parents right from conception or preconception forward. How are they going through their pregnancy and having a healthy attitude, mindset, education process, and birth, so that we're looking at, everything from their structural alignment while they're pregnant to the nutrition that they're putting in to whether or not a mom needs 3 or 4 or 6 ultrasounds along the way. Right. Does she really need any medication? What choices do we have? Educating parents about making birth plans. And then once the baby's born, you mentioned about, I think earlier, about getting the baby checked for subluxation and adjusted when appropriately, analyzed by a chiropractor. And so starting them out the right way that way, and then looking at breastfeeding their baby and healthy nutrition. And then as a breastfeeding advocate for so many years, I see a gap, or have seen so many times, between parents that were so well-intentioned and well-minded and breastfeeding their baby for an extended period of time. And then I see their 3-year-old to the right of us sucking down some soda pop and eating a bag of Cheetos, and say, okay, well, you know what, there's a gap here. We need to fill that. And so educating about the transition then into what does it mean to live a healthy lifestyle and a nutritious diet and organic foods. And you talked about the real extension of that, which is even stuff like homesteading and certainly homeschooling your kids, and making sure that they have not only a healthy body physically, but emotionally and then spiritually. And, where does church and God and spirituality fit into your lives, and rounding it all out. And so when parents, really can recognize and understand all those aspects of it, they make those great decisions. You're led internally instead of externally. And so when you have the basic understanding that God created our bodies whole and complete, with not only the ability to grow this human being inside of you, but that we're constantly growing and recreating every moment during our conversation, how many red blood cells and white blood cells, how much was created inside our body, how many times your eyes blinked, your heartbeat, how many breaths we're taking. We don't think about this. This is all unconscious. It's the miracle of life. And God put within all of us our own pharmacy, our chemical system, that our body's able to regulate and control when it's functioning properly. So when there's interference in that system, it can malfunction. It won't send out the right amount of chemicals, but when it's working right, it will. And so we want to educate parents, how do we find that rebalance in the body so that now your child or yourself is able to learn to heal itself, because the doctor is within you. The doctor's within your child. You don't need it coming from the outside if you're driven right from the inside. So once we have that, then health starts to grow and build once again.
Okay, so let's look at the other side of that. Okay, so what would you say to someone who comes into you who is, say, in his late 50s, early 60s, hasn't had chiropractic care, hasn't seen the need for chiropractic care, but is starting to age? And what would you say to that person? Is there still hope to set that person on a corrective path to experiencing 100% vitality? Or is it just too late? Might as well just go ahead and dig the grave.
Say, it's too late, just send in your children and your grandchildren and we can help save them. But no, everybody has potential for more health, more energy, better immune system, better brain function. So wherever they're at, they can experience more. And with a nervous system free of interference, that will allow them to have greater potential. Even people in their 80s and 90s still have potential for a better function and a better quality of life. So we help you make the rest of your life the best of your life.
Fantastic. Okay, so we're gonna dip back into this Wellness Expo. I have my producer has some pictures from the promotional materials that you sent me earlier. We're going to go ahead and put those up on the screen. And you guys get to Florida. The weather is great. The freedom is free flowing. There's going to be amazing people there. You're going to have the opportunity to hear from guests who are very knowledgeable. We are building the parallel society. It's going to take all of us, so we need you there. And I would say if you see me there, come grab me, talk to me, because I am so focused on this. This is my main focus with going forward with next steps conferences is building this parallel society. We've all now got to get together. Listen, they've got their meetings in Davos and the Bohemian Grove and wherever else it is that they have their little sneaky meetings, and they are not missing any of the bases, you guys. They've got people from and they've got all the industries controlled. They have the media controlled. They have the educational system controlled. They've got Hollywood. They've got the scientific institutions. They have the pharmaceutical industry. They've literally got all these massive corporations. There's like 6 of them that own 90% of the people that you think you're buying a little brand in the grocery store. And no, it's owned by one of these 6 people. They have got all the bases covered. It is far time for us to now, we can't be doing our own individual, independent things. I'm going forward. I want to bring as many people into what I'm doing. I want to bring as many people into what you are doing, because we have got to start we could have meetings every weekend, you guys, in every single city across this country, and we still wouldn't reach enough people fast enough. We've got to come together. We've got to start sharing our talent, our treasure, and our blood for our vision for what we want to see happen. We have to bring that vision into a reality. So in the last few minutes here, tell people exactly how they can find you, where they can get the tickets, what to expect, where we're going with this thing. We've got a couple of minutes left before the show ends.
Yes. Well, everyone can go to www.wellnessparenting.info. You can see who all the speakers are, the hotel information. There's a discount sleeping room link there. You get to see all the schedule. And, Tia, there's so much at stake today. It's our children's health and freedoms, and we cannot, accept the status quo anymore, because there's no end in sight to the freedoms that they want to take away from our kids and the pharmaceutical products they want to inject into our kids. And, life, is so amazing and is so enriching that, we want to experience it all. And, we all deserve that. We deserve freedom. We deserve to make choices, to be able to parent the kids the way we want them to be parented. So, it's so important now more than ever that we all come together. We are able to stand up and speak the truth and give others permission to do the same. And, it's so much better to have the information and have the confidence to raise children, to reach their optimum potential.
Absolutely. It just Don't think about it. Book your ticket, book your flight, get there. You will be thrilled that you do. Go to wellnessparenting.info, see everything. Grab your friends, grab your sister, grab your mother-in-law, and get down there, because it is time to take back control of our kids' health. It is time to come out of the darkness, hear that uncensored truth from the experts, and support the people who support you, who support us. So these docs that come together, these people that come together, they take time out of their lives, their practices, their money. They pour into these, and we need to be there collectively to say, yes, you know what? We're a part of this. We're together. We are a part of the tribe that's going to change the world and make a difference. Because if we're not, it's going to be too late. Today is the day to step up and make that difference. You can be the change you want to see in the world, and we're counting on it. We can't wait to see you there, Tia. We're so looking forward to seeing you there.
Awesome.
And it's going to be an amazing event.
Awesome. And I love that quote by Gandhi. That's one of my favorite quotes. Be the change you wish to see in the world. I'm so honored to have had you on the show today. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Florida along with everybody else that's going to be there. Get your tickets now. You don't want to miss out. And stay tuned for the next episode of The People's Truth. We love you guys. Until then, take care. God bless.
Whoa. My mind has officially been blown wide open. Is yours? Keep sharing the show and join us in our mission to educate the world with uncensored truth. As they say, together we are stronger, our voices louder, and the synergy of our actions more powerful. If you have any comments or questions for Tia and her guests, send us an email at contact@uimedianetwork.org. Until then, stay safe, stay tuned. The UI Media Network and its associates take no responsibility for the opinions and statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests.